Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. And this is
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara.
Live.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí.
Share the broadcast as you are joining us this evening, or as you are watching. Share the broadcast. Invite other people as well, and then
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun diary political. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣẹ́ o, kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé.
So I don't know if many of you have actually seen this news, but as as a Yoruba man, I am concerned, and being concerned is relative, because if those who should possibly take actions are possibly just looking away for their political, for their own political whatever game they are pursuing, right? So why many of you are concentrating on the what are we going to do to make sure that we get what we want, either before the 2023 election, or if this whole thing is going to be enveloped by the 2023 charade called elections. But something sinister is going on. This government, this crooked government, this untrustworthy government, the government of the selected Fulani elite and their foot soldiers, the armed Fulani terrorists in Nigeria. They cannot be trusted. It's a sinister move, a terrible move that I want to bring to your attention. If you have not really been paying attention before now, share it. Share the broadcast.
Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n ní.
Thank you very much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. Good evening to you. And thanks for your time tonight. If you are just joining, remember to share the broadcast before you settle in, because once you are settled in, that is it. You probably won't have the time to do that again. So thank you once again. Look at that caption. Read that caption of the broadcast again. 149 properties Well, let me use their own headline. Federal government moves to recover 149 illegally occupied properties. This is not just properties, okay? You know that Nigeria, as fraudulently packaged as it is, as as destructured as it is, you can easily point at what is more valuable to the rogues in charge of Nigeria. And these are the land and the resources underneath it. When they brought and forced Nigeria together, one of the things they did was to share the territories among themselves, starting from 1966. Obasanjo, Buhari, Babangida, and then the rest of them that you know, that you called your elder statesmen, those who shared lands, they share land by using one single law that never existed before 1966. They called it Land Use Act. It's controversial today. I'll get to the point. Land Use Act gave these criminals the choice lands all over Nigeria. Then, for their, kind of the spoil of war, after they forced Nigeria together, this power gave them gave the people like Babangida, gave the people like Gowon, the likes of Buhari, and the rest of all those supposed northern soldiers and northern politicians, that gave them unchallenged access to the lands in southern Nigeria, which eventually led to them owning most of the lands in southern Nigeria. When I say most of the lands, I'm talking about the lucrative ones. When you talk about choice lands in every part of Nigeria today, it is either owned or formerly owned by a former soldier, dead or alive. That was the genesis. Before then, we were all in charge of our land. There was no law that said the land in Yoruba land belonged to Nigeria. There was nothing like that. There could never have been anything like that. But guess who brought that to fall? Obasanjo. And that made him rich. Seriously rich. You know his story, right? Then they were given choice lands to build infrastructures like schools, hospitals, and the rest of that by fiat. The lands and so they choose wherever they wanted as well. So that made all those unity schools, federal government this, federal government that, right? Including federal government highway and the rest of that. All of these were not partitioned because they wanted to develop the country. No. It was pretty much to control what really happened down there when they decide for the whole country. So the lands they built the school on belongs to federal government. It never really used to make any much meaning until now that we have known better. And I'll give you instances. When Buhari's I just told you the history of how they managed to abrogate the entire Nigeria to themselves, and how they managed to share what became the oil rigs in Niger Delta and everywhere there is oil or anything in Nigeria, how they managed to share those resources among themselves. All they have to do is just put together a government fiat, something like an act or, a law or something, just to steal it from you. Now, that's exactly what they are doing here, if you want to know that. So when these people came in, usually those properties, they are supposed to be owned by the communities who have them. But people always say, well, it's the federal government's land. Now, when Buhari and gang came, what they did is that they started selling those properties to themselves. And when you figure out who are those who are buying them at cheaper giveaway prices, they are their friends with the stolen billions provided for by the Central Bank of Nigeria. When you look at those, so when they talk about we want to recover, it is beyond just properties that you know. Now, in Lagos, For example, they are approaching courts, by the way. They said there are some lands, since all of you won't give them your lands for Ruga and the rest of that. Okay. So what will happen is that there are some lands that belong to federal government. We can use that. First, we reclaim them. Even if people have built on the lands and all of that, they are government's land. And it is government. They say government. If you probably provide any documents, they will say, no, that document is not legit because the government says so. They are the government and they can use that instrument to take your land, right? They did it. They have that, what do you call it, in Lagos as we speak. They said they are going to reclaim 145 illegal properties, including lands in Yoruba land. And if you have built on them, you should be probably getting yourselves ready. 149 plots. I have few names that you probably will see on your screen, just for the record. One moment. People are not talking about it. You remember what happened in Magodo? Until they brought in their soldier, maybe their policemen and guns. Many of you probably didn't know. Well, good enough. That's a case that's been in court since 1980s. But this particular one, before you wake up tomorrow and realize that, oh, Supreme Court just told them that it's the federal government land. Yeah, it's the federal government land. If you can't give us the land outside your area for our ranching and the rest of that for Ruga, then we can always take any other one that the federal government is willing to give. That is the last trip. That's the last trick. And this particular one should call for concern, especially where somebody is trying to become the next president of Nigeria. Look at this. If you know these places, right? And this is the handiwork of Malamu. You see? But it's federal government land now. Okay. So what are they going to use them for? Nothing. They were going to sell them to themselves. Since these people came in, they have sold virtually everything that some of you will probably still call federal government properties. They have been sold in cheap giveaway prices to some malams and some of their cronies right there. So your economy, your whatever it is, that including your land, half of them are owned by them at a giveaway federal government, what do you always call that? Quota system prices. You know what I'm talking about, huh? Well, if you are in Lagos, I don't know all these areas, but especially in Ikoyi, where you have Bedwell Avenue, Ikoyi, Bodilon Road, number 3, Bodilon Road, number 6, Bodilon Road. There are some lands around the what do you call it, the rooster of Bodilon that is also being taken over by these guys. Number 10 to number 11, Bodilon Road, Ikoyi. 16 to number 18, Bodilon Road, Ikoyi as well. Number 34, number 26, number 17A. Well, number 26, Cameron Road, 17A, Cooper Road. I don't think these places are open fields, or they are. Tell me which of them is a secretariat in Ikoyi, and we probably will know, oh, yeah, they're talking about that big building that they've left, uncompleted and unoccupied, where most people, people who are homeless in Lagos are still pretty much sleeping under the bridges. Now, I don't know if you can picture this on your screen. The list is so long, all right? But I decided to use this simply for my, for the narrative I was making. It was Malamu who decided to use the police IG and every other instruments within his reach to take over the case of the Shangisha landowners. Many of you woke up shocked the way the governor of Lagos State was so much kind of, washed down when he thought he could throw his own weight around when when the case was already concluded in Abuja. And you remember the exchanges that followed. after that? Hmm? We are dealing with criminals in government. They want the whole world to be theirs. Their deals, their moves are always questionable. And the most time you raise the alarm, most people don't feel like it is. Now, we don't know what the intention is. We don't know who their targets are. But I can tell you, when I read through the list of the lands they said they want to take in Ikoyi, where they want to take in Ikeja, the lands they want to take in Victoria Island, I couldn't, I can't really picture open land, open field, or government buildings in those places. They are coming to take lands as much as and property as far as Mushin in Lagos. They said they have these lands, allocated land way back. You remember when Buhari said back in back in the days, there is this grazing route. There are these lands that were gazetted to be for grazing land, grazing routes, federal government lands. And they said they have to go all over the country and look for the government, federal government lands. They paid billions to this group that now approached courts in Lagos. So while the rest of you are preparing for your Swagger 23, the Ruga that you said will never happen before you, well, Ruga probably is not just about cows. You know that Ruga is about the land grab, the effort to create the mass relocation of people and a mixture that is completely alien to the people they are trying to force that on. Taking your land. Remember, before now, we used to think it's just about the poor. Still very much about the poor, but we know that it's now about everyone, including the middle class. So I couldn't picture where these open lands or how government landed property are built in this location. Let me give you another example because I have this long list of it here. Ministry of Justice under Abubakar Malamu, right? They said they have appointed an agent to identify and recover possession of landed properties belonging to the federal government of Nigeria within all the states of the federation and which are currently being used and occupied by unauthorized persons who do not have a license or authority of the federal government. Not that they didn't have authorization to be on the land. Maybe state government issued you C or O and the rest of that. Now they are coming for those lands, right? Some said it's going to be a long court case. Well, this Fulani terrorist in government, they love long game. They can play a long game until they get what they want. Now, they say within a short period of time, these agents, they've identified 149 properties currently being occupied by unauthorized persons, and over 120 of the properties are located within Ikoyi, Lagos State. Right? Now, the list of that 149 here and the court case number, right? The properties and all of that, they are as long as you can imagine. See that? As long, I don't know if my camera can pick some of them. They are as long as you can imagine. From Ikoyi to Victoria Island to Ikeja to Mushin and all these places. And mind you, this is just Lagos State. Right there in your own state. Yeah? They have all those recommended. And when you ask, what are they going to be used for? The ones that are of valuable assets, like a worthy, like very valuable, they will sell those ones cheaply to these faceless people that will hold forth for these criminals overall, right? You see, those ones that are they be considered as a grazing routes in other part of southern Nigeria, they are going to approach court and they are also going to get, they control the court as we speak. So once they get that right, you are going to wake up one day and that same Ruga that you felt like would never happen will happen before you, and legally so, backed by the federal government of Nigeria. Okay. Now, all this distrust or mistrust in the system brought upon by APC, Egbekegbe, like we all know that they are not slowing down. They cannot be trusted. Anyone who read this and doesn't probably see anything to it, this is me raising the alarm that it should be on record that they started this one before also. This one is not Magudo Shangisha. This is not Morocco federal government. This is not that, and all this displacement of people in Yoruba land, forceful takeover of people's lands in choice area by these different arms of government, especially the one they say federal government. Federal government. The land of Yoruba people belong to the Yoruba people. It doesn't belong to Nigeria. Anything called federal government property in Yoruba land should be on lease. It is not owned by any federal government of Nigeria. That's something that genuine Yoruba politicians should have in mind and possibly be courageous enough to stand for and defend. I mean, in public, that's what it should be. There is no Nigeria land. Nigeria doesn't have any land anywhere. The lands in Nigeria belong to the indigenous people that are forced together to form a country where people don't even speak the same language. That's how bad it is. So the lands belong to the indigenous people. There is no federal government land. So if you're a Yoruba man or a Yoruba woman, let me even say this to you, and somehow you are still interested in this fraudulent Nigeria, right? If you really want to prove to yourself and to your own forebearers, don't join them and continue to spew that nonsense that the lands in Nigeria belong to Nigeria. Whenever you say that, what you are saying is that the lands in Nigeria belong to Bokuari, belongs to Obasanjo, belongs to Gowon, belongs to all these old General Babangida and co, those who shared, including Theophilus Danjuma and the rest of them still alive or dead. So whenever you say Nigeria land, then Nigeria doesn't have any land. Yoruba land, Igbo land, Ijo land, Ishekiri land. You even have Nupe land. Oyo. You have all these lands where you have people, indigenous people there. So I just want you to know that Tifnumbu was in Ibadan. He wants to be president. Hey. But he was in Ibadan. And then, Akala, the former governor of Oyo, who died, I think about 3 days ago, as well as the recent passage of Olubadan of Ibadan. In fact, a lot of Obas, quite a number of Obas died in the last 3 weeks or so in Oyo State. So Tifnumbu was in Ibadan to pay condolence visits and at the same time to tell Seyi Makinde that he is running for president. Listen, if they didn't talk about it, I won't talk about it. Your attention is being drawn. There's a lot of things going on behind the scene that your attention should be paid to. And if you actually pay attention to them, you are likely never going to be so engrossed or kind of sunk into their prepared lies for 2023. So he was there. So Seyi Makinde, then he told him that he want to be president. And Seyi Makinde made a statement and he said, well, I wish you well, but I want the best for Nigeria. That's what he said. He told him, among other things. Who cares? But I caught that, and I have to share that with you. But that's actually not even the point I'm trying to make yet. Because other things came by. Same day today, the northern Nigeria, that considered every move of southern Nigeria when it comes to what Buhari has turned Nigeria into, how divided he's made Nigeria, how incompetent and how failed, how incompetent he's been, and how failed the country has become under them. Many of them consider the Buhari's time as a waste. And in fact, that never happened. Now, if there is a way to make this work, another northerner should be the president of Nigeria after Buhari. In this regard, another Fulani. Well, they know that that's going to be kind of an easy ride, but they actually needed to they need to set the standard. The people that didn't set any standard, then They are setting standard now for your Tifnumbu. Guess what they're asking for? We need Tifnumbu's medical record. Right. That's the legitimate demand, by the way, right? But me as a Yoruba man, I know that Tifnumbu is not medically, mentally stable enough to be a president of any country. Just like Bokwari is not mentally or medically stable enough to be the admin of a WhatsApp group alone. Not to talk of a compound meeting head. No, that's too much. Mentally, medically, they are not really fit. I know that. But guess what? The northern Nigeria that said every attack, every criticism of Buhari is an attack on northern Nigeria. And these same people are the people Tifnumbu and gang are looking up to. Good luck to them. They're demanding for his medical certificate. Normally, that shouldn't get you angry. Do you know that? If you are running to become president of a country, yeah, you are not going to be a saint. Of course, you're not going to be a saint. But there are some certain things that you should be very, very confident to talk about. Things like your childhood, things like your parents, or if you are adopted, your adopted parents, you know what I mean? Your childhood, about your friends and all of that. There are things you can really talk about politically, things that makes you normal to people to say, oh, I can relate with that. You should never get offended. You should never get triggered. Things like your education, right? Be proud of whatever you have achieved. Be proud of whatever you have achieved enough to feel like you have that leadership quality in you than to put together conjectures and the lies that will always come into the open, right? Then, if you are rich, you should be able to tell us how you make your money. There are many people who want to be like you. Young people want to look forward to you, who are possibly looking forward to you. You've heard a lot about you. Now you're going to be the president of the country. You should be an inspiration, right? There are things that if they ask you the questions, how old are you? That shouldn't cause a fight. It shouldn't be like, what do you mean by how old is it? You know what I mean? How did you make your money? Can you tell us your medical, share your medical record? This issue of medical stuff, right, is optional. Okay, it's optional when you are contesting or running for public office. But somehow, if they become kind of controversial, right, what you have to do is that, okay, well, I'll tell you whatever you want to know, all of you. But you know that if Numbo cannot sit down here like I am here right now, he can't speak to you for straight 30 minutes. And you won't be like, oh, what is he talking about? And you won't get so bored, except for maybe for the laugh. You may just stay there and start and keep watching. 5,000, 10,000 people watching Tifnubu. They are not watching it because it's probably going to say anything sensible. They are just going to see his state. And when you look at his state, you'll be like, oh, you know, the Tifnubu be this, for goodness sake. Why can't this guy just go on? And then, you've managed to escape. The system has managed to protect you from all of your crimes and the rest of that. Why can't you spend the rest of your life taking care of yourself? Then they will say, what do you mean by that? He's still intelligent. He's still mentally, blah, 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 blah. Now they're asking you to bring the medical record. Now fights go soon start. Give us the medical. They say, but he had a knee surgery in America where he recovered in the UK. Oh, that's great. Is that all? Okay, let him bring out his what have you, just to let people know that they are not electing another Buhari 2.0, Buhari Pro Max. Many already have believed that, you know what I mean? They are going to have to deal with Buhari Pro Max. Wow, you say now so na it's on yourself. Just today. Today, another group, they converged in Kano, right? When they converged in Kano, they were demanding for Pastor Ruga to contest for president. So far, no, they tire you. How can you talk about the failure of Bokwari and APC?
and in your own mind, Pastor Ruga is not involved, he probably would have done things differently. I mean, it's difficult to convince some of these guys, right? But at the same time, there is no harm in trying. That's what I just did. So I saw them. I saw the video and all that, right? And I saw Tifnumbu in Ibadan. Saw him in Ogbomoso. He was there with his, he has his own chopper that he flies about. When he needs to travel further, he has his own Bombardier jets, private jets that he flies in. He has all of that. But when you see him talk, would you want that to be your president? So Northern Nigeria says, Northern Nigeria leaders, they said number one, zoning. Zoning is rubbish. It's undemocratic. In fact, they have encouraged northern politicians to also run for the office. So, Afenifere, Pandef, what did they call them? So all these guys also came back. They said, if you don't give us a southern president in 2020, 23, yeah, we will never vote for any northern candidate. Now, let's make that easy for everyone. Okay, let's make that easy. It is all tricks. Okay, the whole thing is going to be narrowed down to what these guys decide. All right. And this is how I feel like it's going to play out if they ever take you to that period where you will even get the joy of probably acknowledging or identifying the final 2 or final 3 or final 4 presidential candidates for you, right? The northern leaders, they know that they have the number and they can use it in their favor very much. The southern politicians, I'm not even talking about northern politicians. I said this, not those ones who claim to be northern leaders. They know they have that. And that single thing is a negotiating power that if they have to let go, there must be something back from that. But we'll get to that. They have the number, they control the military, they control the police, they control the judiciary, they control the INEC, they control whatever it is. They've rejected any form of a reform in the electoral reform to fine-tune the way they conduct their election to make it a little bit more fairer and at least transparent. Obviously, they rejected that. Everything that won't make, they control that. And the likes of Tifnumbu and co, they know that. In southern Nigeria, the Afenifere, the Pandef, the southern this or that, and all these guys, these are old and young politicians who somehow choose that kind of advocacy because this is also their season too. You know what's going to happen? They will end up having to, when the northerners, because the southern governors of PDP, they are already looking forward to northern Nigeria for candidates in 2023. You know that, including the likes of Sheyi Makinde as well. They are already looking up north. Okay? So, Chief Numbu will now be the possible only one from southern Nigeria. So you see the Pandef, the Afenifere, who publicly said they are not in support of Tifnumbu's presidency for political exigency. They will now have to say, since Tifnumbu is the only one left, they will have to go for him. But guess what? It would have become obvious between all of you then that this whole thing has always been, will always be the North versus the South. So, when it becomes obvious, I think that will be the moment the Southern breakup, the constitutional change, and so many other things that we have actually discussed on this platform many times, and many other things that you have in mind, that is when the pictures of those possibility of them will begin to kind of flash before your eyes. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. The way it's going to go, those who are currently pretentiously telling you that they are not with Tifnumbu. They will have no choice when the Northern Nigeria finally play their last card, which is the card of democratic Ifase. Democratic Ifase is that they will play everything along they'll play everything so well enough that you will get yourself involved in it and drown in it. And when it becomes so obvious that they hold the ace, those who told you to reject Tifnumbu then will probably then turn around and be like, we have no, don't that because we believe in them. I'm just giving you the scenario. Then the scenario of, is this not the trick of them taking over that power again or keeping it? Because this will look like democratic. Well, Tifnumbu was beaten up by somebody in APC. How is that even possible? Oh, he was beaten up by somebody else from somewhere. And at the end of the democratically, the power has to go back to the north. There are already states in Yoruba land, states in Igbo land, states in in Niger Delta, who are going to go the same line as their governors hold the ace too. They will go the same line and choose somebody from the north, right? So around that time, when all of you finally, probably some of you finally see the picture that, oh boy, they don't play us, sha. This country should just break. There's no way it's going to be another so Fulani or this or that. Because it will be like, no option. They will screw your option to single two and then they mess you up. And maybe it will make sense to you then. For now, it's going to be sounding like, oh, you wish. Look at this guy using assumption. I have given you facts that will lead to all this before now. Okay? Maybe I should just give you a better example now as well, or a reminder, so to say. In Nigeria, yeah, you have 36 states. Out of these 36 states, you also have 774 local government areas when you further divide the country. So, in the entire 36 states and 774 local government areas in that country, 19 of those states are from northern Nigeria, and over 450 of those 774 local governments comes with those 19 states from northern Nigeria. So population-wise, yeah, they have taken the largest chunk. By land mass, the same northern Nigeria also occupies over 70 to 73% of the entire land mass of Nigeria. The remaining 17 states from southern Nigeria, yeah, they only occupy just a paltry 28 or 27% of the land mass in Nigeria. So what they now did is this. In Nigeria, where there is a federal government, a central government that takes money through taxes, sale of resources, and then a sale of bond, and all that. When they make all that money, so they take it to the center and share that money according to the population of each state. So there are states, there are few numbers of people, but they make a lot of money for the government. So when they get their money, they take their money to the center, yeah, they have to share their money with other poorer states from the 19 states. So economically, the 17 states in southern Nigeria, not so viable, but at least more viable than the 19 states from northern Nigeria. Out of the 19 states from northern Nigeria, yeah, 15 of them, right, will never survive another month if there is no allocation from the federal government in Abuja. They will not survive another month. They will not be able to, they won't be able to pay any salary. They won't be able to fulfill anything at all, even though they are states that generates money. So they get money according to population. And in order to remain and keep that kind of system that robbed Peter to pay Paul, they utilize their bogus population from that 19 states in northern Nigeria. Okay? Bogus population in the sense that there has never been any scientifically proven population of Nigeria. They've always been on conjectures or make-up numbers, because electorally, that is the power. So now come back to, since you don't have scientific confirmation of who is Nigerian or who is living in Nigeria, politicians decided to load their own population figure. And they use these fake figures on different projections on their development and every other plan they have in that country. That's why nothing works, because there is no accurate, reliable, scientific data to say this is the number of Nigerians living here, this is number who are male, female, this is their age and all that. It's mostly on assumption, but that's not the point. Power to keep such system relies in those who wins or decide who wins election. So the northern Nigeria that is not economically viable or contributing anything economically significant to Nigeria, yeah, they decide who become president of Nigeria. It doesn't matter the war, it doesn't matter the insecurity, the terrorism, and what have you have read about, the amount of kidnapping and then a displacement, burning of villages and the rest of that, including villages that are already now in control of the terrorists in Nigeria. All this doesn't count whenever election comes, because if there is nothing that northern Nigeria can contribute to Nigeria, it is using that fake number to decide who becomes what. And when that person becomes what, in return, you have to share the resources of Nigeria according to the population they gave you. Ridiculous, isn't it? That is why nothing works there. That is why you can't walk to Onitsha and say, oh, what is the population of people of Onitsha? They can't say. The system doesn't let them. Guess what? When it now comes to registering for election, here is another one. As displaced, as violent as you have heard about northern Nigeria, whenever INEC says they are registering people to vote, the number always comes back. Currently, they have told us that they have over 14 million Nigerians who are currently internally displaced. 11.8 million of those are from northern Nigeria, middle belt of Nigeria mostly. It will shock you that there are refugees in southern Nigeria too. There are refugees. There are refugees in Calabar. There are refugees in Enugu. There are refugees in internally displaced people who have run away, far away from their homes because of the Fulani invasion and the rest of that. But guess what? Whenever the result comes, you see the peaceful, partially peaceful South, they will always come back with less eligible voters. And guess what they said? They said, it's because all the northerners in southern Nigeria, they always return home to go and vote. The same people, also knows that you can vote from anywhere. Abi, at least you can vote from anywhere and vote for anybody you want. So they now control the numbers. And every time they bring about in Imo as well, people being displaced by military, by Fulani terrorists, all manner of insecurity that are completely underreported. Underreported. So they control the number. They know how to use that. Which means the southern Nigeria, they may claim to be intelligent, they may, they are not intelligent. If they are intelligent indeed, you would have seen some of them raise all these points I am just raising now, because their destiny, this destiny of southern Nigeria politically, is in the hands of the fake figure of this Fulani terrorist jihadist, elite politicians from northern Nigeria. These criminals continue to use that feudalist system on you, an imbalanced, unequal system. Usually, if you go to any country, northern part of the country is either too cold, so that you have less people living there, or too warm, too hot, you have less people living there. While the southern part is more populated when it is either very raining and calmer and all of that. Not in Nigeria. They always claim that one man can give birth to 80 children. One man can give birth to 50 children. They told all these lies, but scientifically, nobody is ready to prove that. Ask them. If you have to show that you are eligible to vote, you should be able to use your own fingerprint. Biometrics should be able to say, oh, you voted before. All these technologies and the rest of them, you just read about them in southern Nigeria. You debate them in southern Nigeria. Oh, electronic transfer of votes. Oh, it's a good one, this and that. All these ideas that could probably make a difference in your election. The reason why they would never work in Nigeria is because they are never for the northern Nigeria. You have two countries. Break it. Start breaking it first. You have two countries. Northern Nigeria is a different country. Southern Nigeria is a different country. 1999 constitution is for southern Nigeria. And everything that is therein is to hold and control the southern Nigeria. Your politicians are also into it. Are you not seeing them? They know it that none of them can pull any stunts and make anybody president. In fact, they are so scared. They don't want to make this a campaign of it's the southern should be president, southern should be, you know what I mean? Like boldly say it should be the, they can't say it. They are all pretending it should be a Nigeria president. It should be one Nigeria president. Is Bokwari one Nigeria president? Is he? And your leaders, your southern leaders, spineless cowards, greedy, selfish scums, right? Walking about as honorable men and women. Respect your elders. Yeah, in Yoruba land, we respect our elders. We know we respect our elders in Yoruba land. Only hungry slaves respect thieves simply because they are old. Do you understand that now? And it's so funny. Wọ́n ní tẹ́rú bá pẹ́ nílé, ó máa ń ṣe bí ọmọ ni. Bí ẹrú bá pẹ́ nílé, á padà wá máa ṣe bí ọmọ ni. All the ọmọ àlès, they are now pointing fingers at us that refuse to bow for thieves, that refuse to bow for failed criminals disguised as your leaders. They are now pointing fingers at us and saying, this Maiyegun is Omo Ale. Maiyegun, you this Maiyegun, you are Omo Ale. Can you imagine that? In the name of thieves. Àwọn bàbá yín bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe nìyẹn. Listen to me. Most of you who probably don't have that kind of deep insight that in Yoruba land, yeah, we were raised to respect elders, leaders, because we know that leadership comes with responsibility. These are irresponsible rogues. And in the same Yoruba land, we were raised never, ever, ever to bow or respect a thief. Tí ọmọ olè tó bá dá àrán borí nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, aṣọ olè ló dàbòrà. If a thief is dressed in gold loin, golden cloth, golden chains, golden chariots. Look at me very well. In Yoruba land, you will look at them straight into their eyes and say, sorry, ọmọ olè ni ẹ́, a ò ní jọ ṣe. Not anymore when hunger has taken over, when people's stomach, belly controls what what they think is right or not, then we've completely lost it. So in Yoruba land, we were so good. We were so good historically, yeah, that even the kings in Yoruba land, they are the most revered, because according to our culture and tradition, let me put it that way, our tradition, the kings are next to gods. Think about that. Kings, they are next to gods. Oba alashe èkejì òrìṣà. People believe that whatever a king says is direct from the gods. You should never question it. Do you understand? Or disobey it? In that same Yoruba land, we have the Aworo Shashas. That once that same person who became king, Igbakeji Orisha, once he misfires, they are going to tell him to go and kill himself. That is the Yoruba land, the culture, the tradition I grew up knowing. Not until when these rogues and criminals who stole the destiny, they stole your yesterday. Many of you are in your 30s now. Take away 20 years from your age, or 22 years. If you are 30 years old, take 22 years away. That means when democracy started, you are just 8 years old. When Tifnumbu and gang and his drug team and the rest of them, when they took over power in Yoruba land, many of you in your 30th birthday now, right? You were, how old? You were 8 years old. They stole your future, and here you are, defending thieves, praying for them, wishing them well, asking God to destroy their enemies and that. Why they destroy you? Maybe you destroy yourselves. Àwọn bàbá yín bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe nìyẹn. Àwọn bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Àwọn ìyáláyà tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Bóyá tí àwọn bá wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ọmọ ọ̀sán ló ń kó pọ́npọ́ bá yá ẹ̀. Ọmọ ọ̀sán ni majority yín ti dì báyìí sìn ní abẹ́ ìgbèkùn APC ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́. Do you understand that now? Àwọn ìyá yín, àwọn bàbá yín tí wọ́n bá ṣe eré, mi ò rò wípé they will be proud of some of you when they found out that this is what you have grown up to become. A complete, spineless, brainless, selfish, and then self-centered individuals who only think about what am I going to gain from that while I watch others die right before my eyes. So you don't call people when you can see those who have shown that leadership to them is not about responsibility. 22 years ago, take that away from your age, then you will understand where my own conviction came from, where I got convinced enough that these rogues should never be part of your journey, of your next 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 years journey, if you can be smart enough, right? But again, it is your destiny, and only you controls that. So yeah, they are asking for Tifnumbu's medical record, and I hope some of you can give that. The last time somebody asked for what is Tifnumbu's age, how did he make his money, it became a serious wahala. You remember that argument? You did. I got something I'm going to have something I'm going to share, by the way, right? But we're going to take a minute break. If you have that, like that video, share it if you haven't really shared it, okay? I will be back in a minute.